Yeah, tell me a little bit about the queue you've been working on. I know it was success a little bit.
It was success in regards, the context was business.
Mhm.
And it was the cold calls, especially the call reluctance, trying to find everything else to do but, make these different cold calls.
Yeah.
And then having the anxiety like right before, getting really tired between the hours of 8 and 11 is when I normally make the calls. Um, but after we started I think I started with the PFC. I mean, I've always been talking about it, I think, since I've been here since January. But when I started the PFC, Joe recommended it. And I think Ishmael was where we did the PFC planner. I said, okay, well, I'm going to work on the queue of success, specifically business, context business, specifically in regards to the cold call. And you mentioned this yesterday where someone was talking about business and you was like, well, you need to chunk it down, which I totally agree. And even when you chunk it down, you're going to find all these other resources and qualities that you want to add to it. So it's, there's always, you can never, it seems like you can never chunk down too much. So last week I started still having anxiety, not really getting in the queue, being strong with the queue, the quality of success and the cold calls.
Mhm.
Um, Went to the mastermind. I think I had a call with Joe on Sunday. And oh no, was it Sunday? Yeah. And I was like, well, I'm thinking like I might need to have to get re-imprinted. There's something there. I need a re-imprint. And then, but I'm listening to Damon's talks as well, where he's like 90% of the time it's more so the parts integration. So I started the parts integration Sunday with Joe. She gave me all the resources for it. I read into it, but then I started going to the pods. So we did the parts integration with the pods. And then I did the switch technique twice. And we just did it and re-emphasized it. And next thing you know, man, I'm making a call on this. The first time I did it after the switch technique, it was like, wow, I don't have that anxiety feeling anymore. Which seemed like, I don't know if you ever watched Dexter. Dexter calls it his dark passenger or something.
Yes.
Like, so the anxiety for me was like my dark passenger. So it was like, whoa, but I don't feel anything. It's just there's like nothing there, so it kind of feels empty. Went back and did another switch pattern, but this time I made it more well-rounded, the bigger picture, the new picture that I would be disassociated with, where I added joy, happiness, care, etc., support, curiosity. And the next day, I promise you, I said it while with the person I was making the calls with. I said, you know what, I'm kind of enjoying this cold call. And that's crazy to me. Here it is after, 2 weeks prior, I'm like, I'm like, I gotta force myself to get on the phone. And then I was like, I'm gonna do 30 minutes. This week I'm gonna do an hour. Today we were on for like an hour and 45 minutes. And I'm like, well, I have to get off. I had something to do at 11 o'clock. So it was interesting just as, for that process to happen. So that would be my win. We're talking about wins for the week. That's my win for the week. And it's a huge win.
That's amazing. One, it's a testament to you putting in the work, attending all the calls, the different calls, like really like rinse and repeating, going, okay, how do I really get at this? Because sometimes you have to, right? Like especially if it was something that's been a struggle, right? Like you said, like you had this anxiety, you might have to tweak like the new movie, or you might have to go, okay, there's a deeper parts integration. There's more work that has to get done to really like shift this. So it's a testament to you, Michael, to putting all that work in and now noticing the benefits from that. Congratulations on that. That's awesome.
I appreciate it. And now it's at the point where now you get, like you mentioned, I get to add these different resources to it. So now it's okay. What's I get to test the boundaries on the call. I get to play with that a little bit. Now I get to play with the clarity on the call. I get to play with, the connection with the call. So there's all these different resources, these different things that you get to play with as opposed to, just being deathly afraid. You're not, I'm not afraid, but just in my head on the call where it's just like, just read word for word and not necessarily connecting with the client. So they're
Yeah.
not being at all. Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. And I think, and I remember even because we were doing a little bit stuff on the call the other day, and I'm guessing it might have been related, but i- isn't it also interesting to notice that sometimes the resistance that shows up might be the value that you're actually after, right? And I don't know if you noticed that, but I think you might have hit that a little bit too, going, oh, there's this certain fears that I'm having or anxieties doing cold calls, but what the resistance or the objection behind that part probably wants the same thing as the part who wants to succeed at it, right?
We
So
did that yesterday, right? When we were
yeah,
going through it, and you said, okay, so what's the, in regard to the resistance or this part, what's the positive intent? Because initially it's fear of this, fear of that. So what's the positive intent? Protection, going down the line. I think yesterday it was connection, independence, and
yeah,
autonomy, and we got to work with that a little bit. So you just get to add these different things to the pot. And here's the another great thing is that it tends to go into other contexts. You yesterday we worked on capable within the business, but capable goes everywhere. So you're doing more with those different contexts as you figure out what with the value that you're working with as you start to transform them. So it's been fun.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because I we always say it's like we end up being all of these qualities. We're like all the parts, that we're all these qualities. So they do end up intertwining, like you mentioned, like being successful and capable and all these things end up sort of bleeding together, and they're gonna transform, or they're going to generalize over to different contexts because you are all these things.
Yeah,
So you get to notice the benefits in different areas. That's awesome, Michael. Congrats for that. Congrats to you on that.
appreciate it.